It seems like King Charles III is on this like mission to kick everybody out of their homes on the Windsor property. And it's kind of funny because the latest casualty is apparently the BFF of the late Queen, a woman by the name of Angela Kelly, who is pictured here with the deceased sovereign Queen Elizabeth II and the editor of Vogue, Anna Wintour. Is Anna Wintour still the editor of Vogue? I almost seem to think that she's not. Is she? Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't even know. But this was in 2018 anyway. And this woman in black is the woman in question. She had some kind of flat or house on the Windsor estate, and it was a grace and favor. I can imagine that means, she lived there at the whim of the king and queen, and I don't know if she would pay rent or how that would work. So she apparently lived there for more than 20 years, and the king has not only thrown her out, but has basically cut off her work phone. Her mobile phone has been cut off. Do you think maybe she ticked off somebody important, like the queen consort? Maybe she said something oblivious about the queen consort? Because, I mean, blame everything on poor Camilla. Blame everything on Camilla. But I'm just saying, usually this kind of stuff has a woman behind it. You know what I mean? It's like, there's usually a woman behind these kinds of moves. But this is what they're talking about. This is where this woman lived. This is a grace and favor on Windsor Estate. Is this a joke? This is the palatial royal property? Jeez, you joy of man's desiring. I can tell you this much. There's a lot about the being royal and that is quite surprising. It's very underwhelming. For example, when you look at Nottingham Cottage, which doesn't make the news very much anymore, I wonder who lives there. But you see the interiors and you just think to yourself, this is Nottingham Cottage. It's so underwhelming that, I mean, and I say this with all due respect, because the whole point of old money is to look like you don't have money and to not be flashy, because you don't want to ignite jealousy and envy in people, and you don't want them asking questions. So you keep everything, concealed and camouflaged, and you make it look like you don't have money. So, I mean, some people think I'm old money. I have a student who he insists that I'm secretly rich and that I pretend to be poor. But, because he can't fathom that somebody could be as poor as I am. He just can't fathom. It can't be true. Because this looks like poverty right here. This looks like poverty. It looks like something deep in in the south of the United States, where people just, are very, very indigent, but not just indigent in money, monetarily, but indigent in mentality. They don't take care of it. They don't mow their lawn. They just don't take care. They don't take care. It's how this looks. But yeah, I mean, King Charles, I mean, he's basically throwing everybody and their mother under the bus. I mean, he threw Harry and Meghan under the bus and they paid him 2.4 million. I wonder how much she paid. But she looks youngish. I mean, she could be Camilla's competition for the king's attention. And Camilla could just have taken one look at her and says, use gats to guz. Use gats to guz. must leave the vicinity because I am not having anybody stress me in my old age, because I know that my husband is capable of extramarital indiscretions, and you, darling, are not going to be it. That's just a theory. I'm not saying that that's happening, obviously. I'm sure this woman is probably married with children and grandchildren, and that's the last thing that is on her mind, and it has nothing to do with why she was kicked out. I'm just being dramatic. So, just take it with a grain of salt. I'm just wondering, why would King Charles have kicked her out if she was such a BFF of Queen Elizabeth and etc. But he kicked her out of her grace and favor. Okay, he no longer needs her favor, and she no longer has his grace. So there you go.